cheaters don't change. 9 times out of 10, cheaters do not change. And here are the psychological reasons why. These two people are in a relationship, and this person has an inner void. Their self-esteem is lower, so they don't really like, value, or validate themselves from within. Now, maybe...
So you can go back and listen to her whole video. I think that this is a very narrow perspective based on this one video. It could be clickbait. She might do more inner work in her coaching. I don't see that she's a licensed therapist based on her bio. I could be wrong about that. But I do want to talk about this because a lot of people do have this belief that cheaters don't change. And many therapists and psychiatrists will disagree with this person in that cheaters can change. It just requires a lot of work. Hi, my name is Eileen. I am sharing my story of betrayal trauma. I am 3 years out with our healing. My husband is doing the work. He is in therapy, and we've made it so far. So I'm going to share a little bit my story and bringing awareness to how I believe cheaters can change. One of the things to really understand with affairs is that no story is the same. There are so many variations of patterns and behaviors and several different reasons why people get into infidelity. There's actually different types of affairs, believe it or not. Like, there's not just one black and white type of affair. There could be a lot of different types of affairs. Now, I will agree with her that there is usually a partner, usually, not in all cases, but usually someone who has a lack of self-worth, needing validation and reassurance, or someone who has issues with self-confidence, self-worth, setting boundaries, speaking up, and having a voice. In this example, she uses that person as the person who goes out and has the affair. But a lot of times the victim has this mindset, has this self-worth belief, and in my case, that was what was going on. I had a lot of assurance and trust in my husband, which I should have. I was his wife, but I had a lot of trouble with my own self-worth. I had trouble with speaking up and telling people what I needed and wanted, to the point, y'all, where if I was out with a group of people, I didn't really know where I wanted to go out and eat. And if I had a basic need like going to the bathroom, I wouldn't tell people I needed to go. So I had to do a lot of work on myself to build my self-worth, my confidence, speaking up for what I needed, setting very firm boundaries, and identifying a lot about myself. A lot of times men that have affairs are dealing with a lot of different things internally. Absolutely. They are dealing with inner child trauma. They are dealing with a lot of different emotional pain categories. They might be dealing with mental illness or ADHD. There's a lot of things that these men could be dealing with. But ultimately they have to go back and do a lot of work because the affairs are just the tip of the iceberg. And there's a lot of trauma buried underneath here that requires fixing in order for this not to repeat. I would agree that if two individuals are not willing to put in this work, it will happen again, inevitably. I did separate from my husband when I first found out, and that gave me time and space to set my boundaries and what I wanted to see from him. He put those things into immediate effect after I was able to identify and work on them. Some of those things were like going to therapy or attending SA meetings or having accountability partners, having spiritual leadership through our church. There were a lot of things that we worked out and identified between the two of us on what I wanted, but I had time and space to figure those things out for myself before I brought it to him. That time in separation also gave him a wake-up call to realize that I was talking divorce and he was going to lose his family. Like, he was not going to charm his way back into my life without some serious changes in his behavior patterns and in the new direction of his life and what that was going to look like. But a woman does not have to divorce in order for this change to happen, as long as both people are willing to do the work. And believe you me, it is a lot of work. So it's not going to happen in a week or a month or even maybe a year. It's going to take time and consistency on both individuals to do the work in order to make the marriage work. But I promise you, and this was a word given to me in the beginning, and I didn't want to believe it. It hurt to believe it because it felt like, oh my gosh, I've sacrificed everything in order for this hope and dream to happen. But someone did come to me and say, I promise you, if you do this, your marriage will be better than ever. It'll be better than the way it was before. And I can attest to that. 3 years later, my marriage is incredible right now. On intimacy, on communication, on our friendship, on dating, on even romance. I mean, my gosh, like our marriage has completely transformed. So there is hope, but there are some things that need to happen. If you forgive the affair partner and just let them come right back into the house without boundaries being set, without identifying what it is that you want or need from them, working on your own healing, regardless if they want to work on it, your healing is a priority. And, you know, by doing those things, I believe that there is a lot of hope for change.